This is what I'm telling you. Don't come over here trying to then guess what? Go do something and come back. Go get cracking and come back. That's what I...
Yes, sir.
TV superstar. Neighborhood star. Come on, man, you look good up here, man. I like the new set.
So, man, that's my dear brother right there. Nipsey is he's a South Central legend. He was a businessman. He was a leader, a teacher, a father, an entrepreneur.
From linking up with Big U, the same man people accuse of being tied to Nipsey's downfall, Snoop's every move is raising suspicion. For someone who swore it was all love with Nip, his words and actions tell a whole different story. And let's be real, Blacc Sam is not co-signing that at all. Blacc Sam, born Samuel Asghedom, wasn't just Nipsey's big brother. He was the protector, the brains, the muscle behind the Asghedom family's empire marathon. Long before Nipsey became the face of independent hustle, Sam was making sure the dream wasn't just smoke and mirrors, but something that could actually stand.
Nip Hussle, aka go get it, at the speed of a marathon, taking his time, going down the line to find
strong in the real world. Together, Nipsey and Sam launched Marathon Clothing. More than a store, it was a statement. It screamed ownership, power, and proof that black entrepreneurship could rise right from the same blocks where struggle had been written into history. Nip gave the people wisdom through his music, but Sam was the one pulling strings behind the curtain. He built the business foundation, checked every deal, and made sure investments stretched far beyond rap. Nip himself said without Sam, bold moves like the Proud to Pay campaign or buying up Crenshaw real estate wouldn't have happened. That's why when it comes to Nipsey's legacy, Blacc Sam's voice isn't just important, it's untouchable. Blacc Sam isn't just family, he's the gatekeeper of Nipsey's vision. Every move, every deal, every relationship had to pass through him because he knew Nip best. He knew the dream, but also the limits. He knew who deserved to be close and who needed to stay far away. That's why whispers about Sam no longer respecting Snoop hit the streets like a bombshell. This wasn't just messy gossip. Fans saw it as proof something snapped. When Sam distanced himself from someone, it was never random. It meant a line had been crossed, a line you couldn't come back from. And this wasn't about ego or clout, it was about loyalty. In LA culture, loyalty is the real currency, and Snoop's decision to stand next to a man Nipsey had deliberately kept away, that was the ultimate betrayal. To see why this cut so deep, you gotta remember how tight Nipsey and Snoop once were. Snoop called himself Nip's uncle. They rocked stages together, did interviews side by side, and shared private convos. When Nipsey was taken in 2019, Snoop cried the loudest, giving a heartfelt speech at the funeral, painting Nip as more than a peer, but as someone who gave him wisdom and strength. That moment felt real, like Snoop's love for Nip was undeniable. Even Blacc Sam seemed to recognize it at first. After the funeral, he personally pulled up on Snoop, gifting him marathon gear as a thank you. For a moment,
I knew Nipsey Hussle personally. You knew he had nothing but love for every gang member from Southern California. I don't care what.
It looked like the bond between Snoop and the Asghedom family was locked in forever. But then, Sam must have seen something that changed everything. Then came the move that flipped everything. Snoop started popping up side by side with Big U. This is the same Big U, real name Eugene Henley Jr., who once managed Nipsey and carried heavy weight in LA. Their bond had crumbled years ago over money, business, and power, to the point Nipsey even dropped a diss track after a violent clash at Big U's shop that brought police running. And Big U's name ain't exactly clean. Federal eyes been on him for years. By early 2025, he was hit with a RICO indictment stacked with charges, extortion, fraud, even violent crimes. Prosecutors described his operation like something out of a mafia flick. For decades, he's had that check-in rep. Rappers touching down in LA had to show respect or else. Many called it straight-up extortion. He even branded it with a podcast called Check In. And guess who showed up as a guest? Snoop himself. But Nipsey, he refused to play that game. Reports say he cut ties with Big U, stopped paying for so-called protection, and stood firm against that culture. Some believe that decision only turned the tension deadlier. So when fans saw Snoop grinning with Big U,
music together, we ended up making a brotherhood. We ended up creating a bond. We created something.
Flicking up in pics, sitting for interviews, even boosting his platform, it felt like a spit in the face to Nipsey's legacy. To a lot of people, intentional or not, it screamed betrayal. The silence from Blacc Sam spoke louder than words. Something had shifted and everybody felt it. For Sam, who knew exactly why Nipsey kept his distance from Big U, this wasn't just about bad optics. It was straight-up betrayal. Sam's distrust of Big U ran deep. Even when Nipsey tried to patch things up and briefly squash the beef, Sam wasn't buying it. He made it clear, no matter how the streets painted that so-called peace, he didn't trust Big U one bit. And Sam had his reasons. One name haunted everything: Stephen Fats Donaldson. Fats wasn't just a homie, he was family to Nip and Sam, part of their inner circle since the grind began. But in 2017, tragedy hit when Fats was gunned down in a drive-by. Almost instantly, whispers tore through LA streets linking the hit back to Big U. The rumor, Fats had pressed Big U after hearing he was leaning on Nipsey, and a week later he was gone. Nothing was ever proven, but the timing and the talk painted a chilling picture. To Sam, this wasn't coincidence. It was confirmation. Big U's presence was toxic, dangerous, and a direct threat to Nipsey's vision and the family's legacy. Fans online picked up on that energy too, flooding forums with suspicion and debate.
Take off on Nip and Fats took off on Big U and set him on his pockets in front of everybody. A week later, Fats was out of here.
Comment sections lit up and even the streets were buzzing. People connecting dots, debating if those rumors carried more truth than anyone dared to say out loud. To Nipsey's supporters, Sam's cold shoulder toward Big U wasn't hate, it was protection, fueled by loyalty to Nip and the memory of Fats. Now picture being in Sam's shoes. You watched your brother grind for independence, handpick who could stand beside him, and keep certain people far away. Then, after he's gone, someone calling himself family starts cozying up to the very man your brother wanted nothing to do with. A man even rumored to have ties to his downfall. That moving eulogy, the nephew and uncle titles, none of that mattered anymore. In Sam's eyes, loyalty ain't measured by funeral speeches. It's measured by the moves you make when nobody's watching. And Snoop's moves told Sam everything he needed to know. This wasn't just rap politics or industry alliances, this was personal. Nipsey had drawn the line while alive, and Sam was determined to guard that line after his death. If Snoop crossed it, then the respect was gone. Simple as that. That's where the silent fracture between Blacc Sam and Snoop really began. And what made it wilder? Even after all this, Snoop kept dropping Nipsey's name in interviews, paying tribute like the bond was still unshakable. But here's what had fans talking. Blacc Sam stayed silent through it all. While Snoop kept mentioning Nipsey in interviews and tributes, Sam rarely acknowledged him back. And that silence wasn't lost on people. Many believed it signaled a serious break. To supporters, it looked like Sam was quietly pulling away, and the receipts piled up. Snoop wasn't just speaking Nipsey's name, he was out here doing interviews with Big U on camera, even vibing to Nipsey's music beside him. Fans didn't see that as casual. They saw it as a statement. Social media exploded. Snoop looks more comfortable with Big U than with Nipsey's own crew. He's choosing sides. For many, it was the clearest sign that Snoop valued his link with Big U over truly honoring Nipsey's values. And if that was true, then Sam had every reason to question what it meant for his brother's memory. A memory he never let anyone disrespect.
This look remind me so much of you, but he different. I'm like, he don't remind me of me. He different than me. I was on board.
Because let's not forget, Nipsey was a visionary. He spoke openly about the dangers of standing next to the wrong people, about how fame twists loyalty, and about why ownership was the only shield against manipulation. His decision to cut ties with Big U wasn't petty. It was strategy. He knew independence was the key to his empire, and he even preached it through his music. Nipsey made his stance clear in his diss track, You Don't Got a Clue, rapping, I built this on my own, and everybody know it's true. Still dudes act like they supposed to have control of what I do. Nobody understood that conviction more than Blacc Sam. That's why, even after Nipsey's passing, Sam kept guarding the vision with his own hands. At the grand opening of Marathon Burger, a milestone meant to showcase Nipsey's dream of community-driven business, drama broke out that stole the spotlight. According to viral clips, Blacc Sam got into a heated confrontation with Rockstar 2800, a member of the West Boulevard Crips. Witnesses said Rockstar walked into the event uninvited, and Sam wasted no time letting him know he wasn't welcome. The exchange wasn't light either. Cameras caught Sam pressing him with no-nonsense energy, standing firm in front of the whole crowd. Social media backed Sam instantly. One post summed it up. Blacc Sam really lost his brother. You think he playing with anybody? Let that man breathe and continue Nipsey's legacy. Nothing but respect. Reddit threads broke it down even further. Rockstar 2800, once close with Nip, had been linked with Wack 100, a name surrounded by ugly rumors about Nipsey. To fans, Sam kicking him out wasn't just about that one day. It was proof he would never let anyone tied to disrespect circle back into Nipsey's world. Another fan put it perfectly after the Marathon Burger drama. Every time I see Blacc Sam, he's standing on business. Dude thought he was about to buy a ticket. Sam said, "Pardon my back." Sam a real one to many. That wasn't just security flex. It was symbolic. Sam was drawing a line in the sand. Nipsey's legacy was not for sale, not for negotiation, and definitely not for association with people Nipsey himself had cut off. In that light, Sam looked like the ultimate guardian. Protective, defensive, and unshakable about keeping Nipsey's vision pure, which is why Snoop cozying up to Big U hit so differently. To the community, standing with Big U meant aligning with street politics and power games. Standing with Sam meant pushing independence, ownership, and the community-first dream Nipsey built the marathon on. And fans couldn't ignore it. They saw Snoop tilting toward the wrong side. That interpretation is what sparked the fire between Sam and Snoop. And when you zoom out, it gets even heavier. Because this isn't the first time Snoop's loyalty has been questioned. His legacy in hip-hop is legendary, sure, but his history with Tupac, Death Row, and Suge Knight has always raised eyebrows. Again and again, fans have noticed a pattern. Snoop shifting sides, rewriting stories to make himself look better. His tales about Tupac are the biggest example. In one interview, Snoop swore he and Pac had reconciled before his passing. But in other interviews, the story changed, leaving fans wondering which version, if any,
What about him? It's an open, free business. But I just know he'll have more problems without...
was the truth. It gets harder and harder to separate fact from image control when it comes to Snoop. Take Napoleon from The Outlaws, for example. He straight up accused Snoop of throwing slick shade at Pac. In his words, "They act like they praising Pac, but they're putting him down." To him, Snoop was dimming Pac's light while still eating off his legacy. And then there's Suge Knight, who's blasted Snoop for years. Suge flat out accused him of being an informant and even questioned where Snoop really was the night Pac was shot in Vegas. He claimed Snoop had inside info, even play-by-play details, yet wasn't with Pac's crew when things went down. Later, Suge doubled down, alleging Snoop tried helping Dwayne Keith D. Davis, the very man now charged in Pac's murder, because Keith was talking too much. Of course, Snoop denied it all, brushing Suge off as bitter, especially after Snoop took control of Death Row Records. But the contradictions keep piling up, like when Snoop said Pac was the first to hand him a blunt. Cool story, but the math doesn't add up. By then, Snoop was already 21 and deep in smoking culture. Actress Cameron Diaz even admitted she bought weed from him in high school. So how could Pac be his intro to blunts? Or the time Snoop claimed he urged Suge Knight to bail Pac out of prison, saying Pac's safety was at risk behind bars. But Napoleon, who visited Pac often, called cap, saying Pac was respected inside, making friends, taking pics, and never once complaining about being unsafe. Sure, Pac wanted out of prison like anybody would, but Napoleon swears it had nothing to do with Snoop's influence. And that wasn't the only story where Snoop's version didn't line up. Take the 1996 MTV VMAs, the infamous night Pac crossed paths with Nas. Snoop later spun it like a dangerous standoff, Nas rolling deep with 100 Queen shooters, Pac going wild, and Nas sparing them out of mercy. Sounds cinematic, right? But people who were actually...
I think Snoop was pushing. You know what I mean? Pac, for a fact, he wasn't really... He had a lot of, like, he used to send us pictures, and his pictures on the internet when he was taking pictures with New York.
There, like Napoleon, said that's not what happened at all. According to him, Pac and Nas were respectful, talked it out, and even agreed to squash their issues. Pac promised to take Nas's name out of upcoming diss tracks once he got back to LA, a promise he never lived to see through. And here's the kicker, Napoleon doesn't even remember Snoop being there. Nas himself later confirmed Snoop's retelling was false. To fans, it painted a clear picture. Snoop has a habit of reshaping history. Sometimes it feels like exaggeration, other times like straight up damage control. And when you put that history next to his new alliance with Big U, the pattern looks the same, shifting loyalty, rewriting narratives, and doing whatever it takes to protect his own image. For Blacc Sam, this wasn't petty drama. It was about guarding a legacy he helped build. Nipsey's values weren't just business moves, they were about loyalty, independence, and lifting the community. Nip had separated from Big U for a reason, and to see Snoop, who once called Nipsey nephew, publicly embrace the opposite path, that cut deep. It felt like Nipsey's memory itself was fracturing. Blacc Sam was never the type to rant on social media or air people out in interviews. His power has always been letting his moves speak louder than words. And that's exactly why his silence towards Snoop hit so heavy. While Snoop moved in his own lane, Sam locked in on protecting everything Nipsey left behind. From expanding Marathon clothing, to locking down real estate plays Nip once dreamed of, to making sure Nipsey's kids and family stayed secure, Sam carried the torch with no hesitation. He even pushed into new community projects, keeping Nipsey's mission alive on Crenshaw. But one thing fans don't see anymore? Snoop standing beside him. That uncle-nephew bond that once looked unshakable has faded into cold distance. No more joint appearances, no more collaborations, just two paths running parallel, but never crossing. For those hoping to see Snoop shoulder Nipsey's vision with the Asghedom family, the message is clear. Sam has chosen to walk that road without him. Because for Blacc Sam, loyalty to Nipsey's dream comes before any celebrity alliance, no matter how legendary the name. And that's where we'll leave it. Make sure you hit like, drop a comment, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And I'll see you on the next one.